Hello and welcome to my boat workshop. My name is Panu and I am building this 15-meter liveaboard cruising sailboat here in Finland, where summer has turned into fall. Finally, it is pretty cold already, it's early October, but this is exciting video because I'm starting to lay down the boat here in the shed. As you may see, I have the laser level here ready to go. I have the line here on the floor ready to go. And now I'm starting to mark up the stations on the floor. And actually, before I do any permanent decisions, I want to test a couple of options in this video. In a previous video, you saw me mark this floor and I asked you if you have any ideas how could I make this a little bit more efficient. There has been a couple of ideas, but I still have two of those original thoughts that I want to test. But before we go into testing, I want to show you what is the basic layout I want to have here in the shed. In that way, you may understand a little bit better why I am choosing this method in the first place. Okay, here is the 3D model again. This is pretty much what there should be before the blanking starts. So we'll get back into these details a little bit later, but now I just want to show you the things that will be installed first on the floor and why I'm gonna do it the way I'm gonna do it. So if we hide everything in here like so, here you can now see the first things that are gonna be installed on the floor. So these green boards, of course, are the foundation boards we're gonna do in this video or test, and they make the flat surface this bulwark will be put onto. As mentioned, this bulwark is completely straight and it makes it possible to make it this way. In many comments there were suggestions that I should do some kind of strong back, a little bit traditional one, but I want to show you the reason why I'm not gonna do that. And that is if we take these frames back here, hide this additional stuff, you can see that I have now these frames which are actually done when you see this video, and they have just the kind of the shape of the boat. There's nothing in the middle. So if I had some kind of box or strong back here in the middle, I would have to do quite a lot of additional temporary structures to actually attach these frames onto it. But now when I have this flat surface here, I can just put these on there and they should stay put. Of course, there's gonna be this middle mold here that have slots where the frames will be installed into. So yeah, that will help to make the actual locations for the frames as well. But there is no structures from the middle to the edges because everything is on the floor on these foundation pieces. So that's kind of the idea of this thing. And the very first pieces that will be laid to the floor are these. There's the foundation boards and these are the bulwark pieces, 2 layers of 15mm plywood there. So this is the middle line of the boat, this string right here. But before I start to make any tests, I want to take another look of the flatness of the floor. I already know that it is pretty good. There is a high spot right around there where the camera is, and there's a low spot kind of in the middle on the right there. There's a low spot, so that I know, but how much that really is, that I need to figure out a little bit. So now I have the laser level set here. It should be completely flat, of course, and you can probably see this line here, yes. And now I can go with this thing and kind of get a feel how high or low each spot on the floor really is. This is the reference point around here. Let's go this way. About 2 millimeters lower. And here is the mark for the very stern of the boat. Let's check it out. 1 centimeter higher than in there. Yeah, there is a high spot. 5 millimeters lower. Oh, no, it's... Of course, it's another way around. If that is higher, it brings the mark lower and vice versa. So that is actually 1 centimeter lower than there. So it really doesn't matter. I just need to get the differences here. Yeah, that's about the same. About the same. So now you can see the differences. This is about maybe 1 centimeter and 1.5 maybe. Now I'll do the rest of the area. All right, these are the marks that I got from the highest to the lowest spot. So the variation is about 2.5 centimeters. That is not actually too bad considering how big area this is. The highest point was right about there where is this pile of wood. And I think the lowest was right there on the stern. And all of the rest was kind of between. So there is the biggest variation back there. But what this means, if I'm gonna do the way I explained it the last time, so I need at least 3 centimeters thick wood to reach from the lowest to the highest level, so that there's still wood left in every position. But that's a bit annoying because the standard board in Europe or in Finland is actually 22 millimeters. So that is a basic board you can buy cheaply from the shops. Now what I'm doing next to test this thing out is actually to grab a piece of wood, which is maybe 3 centimeters thick, drill it to the floor and try to plane it smooth. Oh. I've been waiting this for a long time. So this will be the bow of the boat. The very front place of this mold board is right over there where it's this mark. So that is where the boat will start. Actually, it will start right about here. Then we need to put these right spots around there, and then we're gonna plane this surface into level. But before we start putting these on the ground, I need to, of course, make some markings here on the floor. Good thing about this system right now is that I don't need to be super precise putting these. They can be a little bit here and there, because on top of these will be laid the actual CNC cut pieces of plywood. And those are the pieces that are really accurate. Let's now make marks where these things should go. For that, I'm gonna use this laser again, because this also makes a crosshair like that. Now I try to position it. This is the first mark. 400 millimeters from there is the first board. And as mentioned, this is not that crucial, so I'm gonna just use this measuring tape. Now I'm gonna tension this, make sure this is properly tensioned. Yeah, it should be good. Now I will put the crosshair just on the right spot. Actually, I'll put it other way around. That looks perfect for me. Let me show you a little bit better. Here you can see the later lines. The vertical line follows the string. You can't really make a difference there. Where's the string? Where's the laser? And this horizontal is right on the mark there. So now I can mark both sides. Then let's move this to the next one. Like so. Just like that. Now we have the places for these 4 boards. Something like that. This is now bow of the boat, or actually this is the, I don't know the words in English or in Finnish. All right. What I meant was that this is actually not the bow, this is the pulpit section. The bow roller, the anchor roller will be somewhere around here. So the actual hull starts somewhere around here maybe. So now I need to actually drill holes here and attach these pieces to the floor with some screws that go deep enough so that my planer won't hit the screws. So let's try to do that now. All right, they won't be going anywhere. Now I have this space here between to put this board eventually in like that. So that looks somewhat similar what I did with the plans. Now I just need to plane these into level. But that I'm gonna do another day because now it's pretty late already. It's pretty cold in here. And actually it's absolutely amazing weather and we're going to go sailing a little bit tonight. Sun is just setting, so it's gonna be so nice. Couple of days later, work continues here. These are now attached to the floor and I think I'm gonna do the second option for making this floor leveling tonight. And that is, just a second. Using plywood like this, the idea is to stay, just a second, is to take some bolts and these same thread thingies that I used with my clamps. So these are the thread nuts, I think they are called in English. So they have threads inside and these bolts go in them like so. And the idea with this method is to take a piece of this plywood, put a hole in there and this thread thing underneath, and then put this bolt in there, and the bolt will go through and against the floor, and that way I can put 4 of these bolts in a single piece of plywood and balance it perfectly with the level or laser or whatever, and just adjusting with these bolts I can put it up or down. And then when it's on its place, the whole weight will be on of these bolts. That is kind of the thing that I'm a bit concerned with this method. Should I put some kind of a washer or something to spread the load on this bolt end a little bit? But when these are on the floor, I can put it where they belong, adjust them, and then drill them through to the floor with another screw that holds it on its place. That's the idea with this one. I have had some problems with these thread nuts with the clamps. There's quite a few of them that has been kind of given up, so the bolt just stuck in them. I think the threads just breaks over time when adjusting them, at least with the clamps. So I have really not 100% trust with these. And also these are the biggest I can find. This is M10, so it's 10 millimeters in thickness. I would rather use M12, but I can't find anywhere these thread nuts over M10. So yeah, I think I'm gonna cut now a piece of that plywood and make those holes and we'll test it. But before I do that, just a sneak peek. This is the frame number 11 done, laminated. After this, there's just 2 frames to go. And I am kind of disappointed that I didn't manage to do them during the summer. So they actually should have been done last winter already, so yeah. But it's done, 2 more to go. It is quite cold tonight. Anyways, this is the second type of thing I did for this problem. As you can see, I have these 4 bolts on the corners, and here is those thread nuts underneath. So let's try to balance this and see how that goes. So here is the stern line somewhere over here. Let's put it right here. The obvious problem with this is, of course, that I would need several dozen of these, at least 3 of them in single station, so either end and in the middle, probably even more on the sides to get everything stay kind of in good balance. Or maybe some of them would be a little bit bigger, wider, or something like that. I need to figure that out, but this kind of wobbles a little bit. Now we need to get level and adjust these bolts so that it is balanced perfectly. I should have a shorter level somewhere. There it is. So here we have the level. Not sure if you can see it. It's a little bit bad light here at the moment. It's a little bit high on that end, so let's a little bit. Whoops. Yeah, this is the problem with this kind of method. It's hard to keep it still where it belongs. Now it went too much. Moved again. It's actually not that easy. Now it looks good in this direction, and now I need to check it this way, and it is off quite a bit. No, I have to get the headlamp. Okay, now I can see a little bit better. And don't say anything about my light fixtures. I haven't done any permanent things here because I need to do the insulation still. Everything kind of comes with that. Okay, now it moved a little bit again. It's not easy, but I think it's doable. And of course you have to remember, this is just one. I would need to get all of these at the same level, which can be a little bit of a challenge, but this way as well. So we could say that this is now perfectly on its spot. Let's now do another one of these and test the side-by-side adjustment. Okay, here's another one of these. Now we should get this exactly to the same level as that one. This is this direction, and then this longer level that should be right here. This is actually pretty close. Okay, now it doesn't wobble anymore. Looks like this is now a little bit higher actually than that. Now it is perfect. Let's see how this goes. Quite close already. A little bit higher in here. But actually, I don't really trust this level completely. Yeah, it shows just a tiny bit differently on either side, so at this point I'm gonna grab the laser. All right, I have this laser level in this small camera tripod. Now I have this line here, and I can use the square to kind of check every position, like so. The dark environment actually is pretty good when doing this laser work. It is pretty easy to see, actually very easy to see. So this is exactly 22.2 millimeters. If I move it here, it stays the same. So I would say this is perfectly in balance. Now this is a half a millimeter higher on that corner. You have to remember that these plywood boards, they are not exactly level either. So I could live with this accuracy. So let's check this another one. This is actually 21.9, so this is 3 millimeters higher than that one. So let's adjust that. Okay, now if I check these again, I would say these two boards are now perfectly in level in every direction. Yep. Yeah. This was actually easier than I expected. Only problem with this method is that I would have to buy quite a bunch of this plywood. It needs to be thick to be able to handle these forces, and also all the weight of the boat will be on these bolts. So that's kind of the, maybe not an issue, but I can expect some problems with that. As I explained earlier in this video, there will be these plywood shapes that are going to be placed on these pieces. Let's play a little bit of an imagination game. So this will be the plywood piece on there. And one problem, of course, is that there's no support between these. But I don't know if that's gonna be any problem. I could make a little bit larger some of these in the places where there's a longer gap. So yeah. I was kind of settle myself in that first method that I would just put boards in there and plane them down, but this was surprisingly easy. I really need to think about this through, and let's see what kind of decision I make. Okay, these are now done, except for this one. I made a little bit of a stupid mistake. It's quite easy to confuse which direction you should move this to get it right. So, yeah. It didn't took that long to do these. Of course, they are quite small and short compared to the big ones on the middle of the boat, of course. But the quality, it's not really that easy to make the quality of these very good. So these are now maybe within 0.5 millimeter on the same level. So it is doable. Now I just need to think about the quality, amount of work, money, all of these. So those in the back, they were pretty easy to get on level, but they require very thick plywood. They need some bolts. They need work to assemble them all. These are just boards I need to screw on the ground and then make this hand planing stuff. So I really don't know yet. One thought that came in mind while I was doing this is so hard, maybe I should go with that other one. But now when I got it done, and I'm quite pleased. Let's put this plywood here, just to check it. This one is, of course, it's out of level, but these three, it doesn't wobble at all. I would say it is almost perfectly in level. Yeah. The problem really is that there is no room for a single mistake. If I take too much from one of them, I need to either change that part immediately or plane everything again. So, yeah, I really don't know yet. I need to think about this through and also ask price for these and calculate how much I actually need these. What do you think? Which way I should go? With these boards or those bolty, plywoody thingies? All right, after a week or so pondering, I've come in the conclusion that I will go with the option number 1, this one, with the plywood pieces with the adjustable bolts on them. There is really one reason why I eventually decided to do that, and that is that I can adjust them later. Probably I would have been able to do the planing well enough, but when the environment kind of changes a little bit all the time, moisture levels go up and down and temperatures, etc. I think the adjustability is a good thing to have there. So that means that I need to get 5 full sheets of thick, maybe 28 to 30 millimeter plywood and cut them with the CNC to proper sizes. And yeah, that said, I think it's enough for this video as well. At the end, I want to show you some footage I did just a few minutes ago. I actually cut the first pieces for the bulwark with the CNC. So probably on next video, there is something happening with the foundations, but most probably I need to start making the insulation for the shed because it's now mid-October, temperatures have gone down quite a lot. It's below freezing every night and yeah, not really suitable for using epoxy inside here anymore. And I actually have the second to last frame done underneath the table and the insulated box again there. So frames should be done by next video. Now, of course, remember to subscribe and massive thank you for all my patrons. Thank you for your support and your patience. It has been quite slow, but I really try to push forward this project. See you soon. Bye bye.